Hey, Luke Halliday here with another WandaVision episode review. This is my review for episode 6? Yeah, episode 6 now. So, we're beyond the halfway point. We're in the final stretch now of the series. And shit has well and truly hit the fan on WandaVision. So, following last week's shocking cliffhanger ending where we were introduced to the recast Pietro as portrayed by Evan Peters, we're now in a Malcolm in the Middle style sitcom, and it is Halloween in Westview. The episode makes great use of the unique style of Malcolm in the Middle and gives some great material for Tommy and Billy to work with here, as we see them breaking the fourth wall and talking to audience, much like Malcolm would do. While Malcolm in the Middle was an overall positive vibe show, this episode is utterly fueled by an undercurrent of dread. The reality that Wanda has been happily living in is falling apart at the seams, and it seems to have devastating implications ahead. Wanda had planned for the family to go trick-or-treating together, but Vision has decided to go off-script, claiming he is going to be part of the Neighborhood Watch. Now, Wanda knows this isn't the plan, but she loves Vision and doesn't want to fight with him, so she leaves him to his own devices. This, of course, does not go to plan, as Vision discovers that the closer to the outskirts of town he goes, he finds that all the residents are like frozen in place. As if they when they are not part of the sitcom, they're simply just frozen until it's their turn to be part of the show. Vision gets to the outskirts of town. He finds Agnes frozen behind the wheel of her car. This seems to throw into question whether there is more to Agnes than we thought, as it seems to imply she's just another victim of Wanda's, and not some greater being at play. She asks Vision if she is dead, because he is. This all throws everything into question for him, and he defiantly decides to make his way out of Westview. Meanwhile, the SWORD agents outside have decided it's time to go nuclear option, and enact a full frontal assault on the Westview anomaly, and take Wanda out. This doesn't sit well with Monica Rambeau, Jimmy Woo, and Darcy Lewis, who've become quite the rad trio of characters, I must say. Haywood orders them removed from the location when Rambeau declares, if Wanda is the problem, then she needs to be our solution. Which is an idea Haywood doesn't quite like. He says to Monica that she doesn't know the struggle of those who have lived through the 5 years of the blip, the struggle they all went through, and apparent resentment many of them now bear towards superpowered individuals. Monica and company managed to escape with the escape from the SWORD agent, and we learn that through some hacking by Darcy that Haywood is tracking Vision with hopes of reacquiring his asset. This makes things certainly interesting, and one has to wonder what experiments has been done by SWORD on the Vision during the 5-year time skip. We also learn that having been in the Hex is causing Monica's DNA and cells to change in some way. Something that she just brushes off, but this leaves me to wonder if we might be seeing the introduction of mutants into the MCU here. Could Wanda's Hex be causing the DNA of these humans to mutate? What if we have a reverse House of M situation where instead of removing all mutants, Wanda actually creates them? Possibly extending her Hex across the entire planet even. Irregardless, Monica and Jimmy decide they need to bring in her aerospace engineer friend to help with the situation. Could this be Reed Richards? Who knows? Back inside the Hex, Pietro and Wanda are having a pretty interesting conversation, with Pietro clearly knowing a lot about what is going on here. He does not appear to be under Wanda's influence, and even compliments her work on the Hex and the town of Westview. I'm pretty much convinced that Evan Peters' version of the character is none other than Mephisto. He's made countless remarks that seem to indicate as such. For example, in this episode alone, he calls the kids demon spawn, says that Westview is charming as hell, and describes himself as devilish. Anyways, while they're having this conversation with Pietro, just, generally saying a bunch of weird shit, Vision breaks out of the hex and becomes very clear that he cannot survive outside of it, as he slowly starts dying the minute he walks out. Vision begs the Sword agents to help the people inside of Westview. It's at this moment that one of Wanda's children, I can't remember which one it was, he telepathically hears Vision's painful pleas, and he informs Wanda. Acting immediately, she begins to expand the hex to massive proportions. Hayward and the other Sword agents begin to flee. Many are caught inside the hex, and immediately they're transformed into clowns at a circus. Vision is safe back inside the hex, but he now knows the truth of the situation. It's also worth mentioning that Darcy was trapped in the hex, along with presumably thousands of others nearby. Overall, this has got to be one of the most insane episodes of WandaVision yet, and there are many curious questions left here. Who is Pietro really? Is Agnes really just a normal citizen of Westview? Who is the aerospace engineer friend of Monica Rambeau? And who is the supposed person that Jimmy Woo had in witness protection in Westview? There's so many questions here, and as we barrel ahead into the final episodes, final 3 episodes actually, of the series, I just can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Yeah, I'm really into the show. I think it's so good to have Marvel back, and yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up there. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode, what your theories are. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll be back next week with episode 7. Alright, thanks guys. Have a good one.